Hey, my name is Ben Fair. My online name is Ghost. I'm representing Sydney Raw and I play Rocket League. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Soccer was like a huge thing in my life as well. And like cars is like now like a huge thing in my life. And like it's just a game with my two favorite things. So it could not be better. In real life, I like to drift a lot. So I'm a bit of a hoon. But like in game, I'm more of an aggressive player. Like I like to score goals a lot. I kind of took the game serious not too long ago. I just played for fun, and I took it serious maybe maybe the start of last year. I was just like, you know, I was like, this could go somewhere, and now I'm here. Like to be in this position I'm like super happy for, and the fact that it's only starting as well. There's so much more to come.
Welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series. We are about to have a huge second match, aren't we, Dave? We've got the Sydney Raw taking on the Sydney Chiefs. What should we be expecting here?
Well, it's the battle for Sydney. Whoever gets this takes the crown in front of the Sydney crowd. So it's such an important match. There's 3 Sydney-siders here. The rest must have flown up.
Bad traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the lineups here. Let's talk about what's going to be happening. Let's have a look at the players. Talk me through it, Dave.
Already starting with Sydney Raw, complete draft roster. But these 3 have been playing together for a while. They know how each other play, led by the most experienced Justice Robo, playing for a long time, put his hand in everything. But the rookies, Ghost and Change, they come in and bring this real spark. They've got this real excitement for the game that means that they're going to improve really fast.
Awesome. Okay, let's have a look at the Chiefs lineup. Let's see what they're bringing to the table.
Normally you'd say that these aren't just the crowned champions of Sydney, but of Australia itself. But the team is over in London prepping for the World Championships, so they've got this hand-picked draft roster of Lim, CJM and Talendina. CJM, in my eyes, could be on a top 4 team, in a top 2 team in the near future, and this is the exact opportunity they need for that.
So we didn't do this on the last match, but I would like to do it now. Do you have a call on who's going to win?
It's going to be teamwork up against individual skill, and I think the change in individual skill is too much. Sydney Chiefs, with their individual firepower, say individual a few more times, will get it all the way solo as 3 men hitting the ball.
Chiefs, you're calling the Chiefs?
Chiefs. They're going to be the Kings.
All right, okay. So that means we've got Lim, CGM and Talendina. So you reckon they're going to come out on top, definitely?
Easily.
Because yesterday, Kevin, in our CSGO stuff, got it wrong 3 times.
Yeah, but he's 0-3. I'm already 1 from 1.
Oh, true.
He even said he's not a very good expert weather. I'm happy to say best expert, smartest guy in OC.
Man, the smack talk's everywhere. It's not even the players. Now the analyst is smack talking the other analysts. This is intense. Before we get the teams out, let's meet one of the players from the Chiefs. Check this out.
I'm Connor, also known as Talendina. We'll be playing for Sydney Chiefs in Rocket League. I played for about 3,500 hours and most days I'll be playing Rocket League. My favourite car of choice is the Grog. It has the best hitbox and it's probably optimal for hitting the ball more than any other car. It's the same as football or soccer. Hopefully no Europeans are watching. Should be exciting. Get a free trip up to Sydney every week. Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, I think the time for talk is over. Let's get these players out here. Let's get these teams out here. Right now, guys, give it up for the Sydney Raw! All right, to make some noise for their crosstown rivals, it's the Sydney Chiefs. Let me hop in here, lads. All right, Justice Robo, are you pumped for this match?
Oh, I'm super excited, very confident going into this match. Our lineup's super well, like we've been practicing a lot lately, and yeah, feel really good.
You confident? You reckon you come out on top?
Yeah, well, their team's a little bit unknown. Like the players, I definitely know them, but them practicing as a team, I haven't seen it too much. So I feel like their chemistry could be a little bit off, and yeah.
Are you going to take that kind of stuff, mate?
Definitely not.
He said you're unknown.
Oh, we're definitely known. Probably more known, I think, than them.
Oh! Oh, so you reckon? So you're feeling good about going into this match?
Yeah, we're quietly confident going into this match. We've been practicing a bunch the past few days as a team, so
very different to Melbourne order. You would say they were loudly confident, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, let's shake on it, lads. Let's make it a friendly one, and then we'll save all the tactics and all the hecticness for on-field. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in just a sec. You are watching the Gfinity Elite Series. Huge Rocket League action coming up.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Callum Murray.
Callum Murray.
Callum Murray.
Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
Welcome back for match 2 of the day. Sydney Roar are about to take on the Sydney Chiefs. The Sydney Chiefs. That's enough attempting and talking from me. Take it away, Jake and Jim. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, as always, Luke, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the casting desk. My name is Hysterics, and this is Jim Nesso, and about to jump in versus Sydney, and I don't know how you have a favourite in this matchup here.
Well, I mean, everybody's going for Sydney, right?
Right, yeah.
That's how these things work.
That's our support. So when Sydney gets a goal, everyone will clap, and I think we've got some a bit of unity on the stage. However, on the players, there will be no unity whatsoever. The Chiefs taking on Raw, and this is a very individual lineup from both teams, and there's something we'll talk about as we get into game one of our second matchup here at Gfinity.
As we said, the City Derby underway. Second match of the Elite Series. Both these two teams really wanting to assert their dominance on their hometown and stake the claim, win the fans early on in the piece. But that is a interesting play early on, the demolition coming out. So a signal of intent twice here. Talendino doing the damage there, but Justice Robo obviously still looking to be menacing. What is going on at the moment? It is just a period of just filling each other out.
Yep.
Getting themselves into the game, finding that rhythm.
I remember game one is always about filling each other out, but also with Sydney Raw and Chiefs, you're going to be looking at CJM here, and most likely Justice Robo, two very experienced members, and I think for CJM, his solo play has been powerful, but who comes together as a team? You'll find out here, and in game one already, Sydney Chiefs are able to get more possession with the ball, and Lim just has freedom, sets it up for Talendina. He goes wide. CJM comes in, but he swings, he misses, and now for Sydney Raw, they should be able to recover.
Yeah, they do have numbers back in defence here, Sydney Raw, so they're going to build from the back, but at the moment, that's actually allowed Chiefs to just keep the pressure on, keep that ball in that defensive third of the Raw, but just some individual play here. The passing is good, but CJM, can he finish it? No, it is actually cleared. That ball is still in a dangerous area, and that ball is simply put away from Talendina, man with the most interesting name outside of Slurpee Monster.
Yeah, no, I think Slurpee Monster definitely takes number one there, but for Sydney Raw, just became too much, and Talendina committing for the play. Sydney Chiefs find their first goal, and they open up the series against Sydney Raw.
Back to the kickoff here, and Sydney Raw looking to get themselves back into this match early on, and tell you what, Lim doesn't care.
He's out for the demolitions here today.
Definitely a signal of intent. They want to claim Sydney as their own, and the Chiefs, as we said, it might not be their starting roster that is playing today, but it's certainly a roster that's looking to prove itself in a similar manner. They've got big shoes to fill, or at least in this case, big wheels.
Oh yeah, the draft of Sydney Chiefs, they're going to have to try and prove that they're worthy to stand in the position, and so far they have with the first goal. They come close hitting that backboard, and Talendina and Change, that 50-50, Change carries it through. The demolition might set things up as Ghost comes in, and he'll center the ball in that goal square, but Chiefs just carry it out once again. These big clears setting Lim up to get near the goal.
Justice Robo looking to push that ball out. He's done a good job pushing it upfield, but that's about as much as he can do for now, as Chiefs looking to control that ball in the midfield. Lim not looking to go out on one just yet, but still putting pressure on the Raw. And there's those demolitions coming through, and what it does is it removes a player into defence, particularly the goalkeeper. If you can take the goalkeeper out like that, it really leaves them in the lurch, and Ghost has actually capitalised on that aggression from Chiefs. They were too far forward, too far concentrated on doing the damage and leaving their opposition one behind, but in the meantime, they've actually forgotten to track back.
This is good from Ghost. This is very, used to be known as Sinisk, and now moving on to the name Ghost. But Sydney Raw getting that first goal. This man runs away with the ball, and you have to keep a close eye on him. And although I said look at Justice Robo, I mean, you'd still be looking at the two other players to simulate that aggressive offense. Ghost comes in again, this backball, the double touch denied by CJM. Keep a close eye, see if anyone else commits. I think they've kind of run out of boost, and Ghost will hang back after the demolition as well. That call for the offense from Sydney Raw.
This game is certainly providing a lot more fireworks than the other one, and that is just a tactic being employed here by both these teams. They're not really caring too much about their opposition, but more importantly, what it means is they're hitting that boost, they're hitting that ball fast. That intent from the players is to hit that ball fast, get a bit of speed up, obviously beat their opposition out to the ball, and that is obviously causing a few of the demolitions here, so it's a much more interesting game in that regard. But Ghost just not needed there for the moment. Justice Robo obviously doing the bulk of the work in defence, but Sydney Raw here a chance for them to attack, but it has just dissipated into nothing.
Still Lim and CGM going for those demolition, going for those bumps, and even faking a couple out. Talendina will just clear the ball down the field, and for the Chiefs, I mean, that was a convincing start, but now getting that demolition from Talendina, Change is knocked out of the fight for another 2 seconds. Robo will just try and get this defensive clear, and Lim commits forward. CJM's there as well. Change getting bullied around, but Ghost will be able to clear it all the same. A minute 10 remaining and it's still 1-1, and I have to say for Sydney Raw, a much more convincing second part of game 1.
It is, but I mean, for the moment, they're just sort of playing a lot in defence because the pressure coming through from Chiefs is solid, but there is a moment of reprieve here as that ball just sails high. Ghost couldn't quite get the direction he wanted on that one, but they're still attacking here. Sydney Raw, a chance for them to really put themselves in front and really take some steps towards potentially taking this series, but they need to deal with that ball first.
Talandina, that was an easy one for him, but I got to say, Chiefs turned that counter-attack around very, very quickly. It was just Ghost going over the ball, and Talandina pops it to the left, sorry, the right. Robo doesn't know what hit him. 2 goals now.
I mean, Justice Robo sitting there in goals. You've heard of the term flat-footed. In Rocket League, it's called flat-tied.
Oh, yeah, really? Well, look for a pump, see what the Chiefs can do. Well, better yet, Sydney Raw, because the Chiefs have done enough so far. 35 seconds remaining, and for Sydney Raw in game 1, they've come close. But now for Justice Robo, it's up to him. And from the corner, he'll bring in Ghost as well. Change is hanging back, but 2 defenders there. An easy setup there for Sydney Chiefs once again.
Ball, though, just sitting in the midfield at the moment. And a chance for them to build to something here. Potentially, as we said, get that level pegging. There's only 15 seconds left here, so they've got to act quickly. They've got to keep that pressure on. But it looks as though Chiefs are just absorbing it for the moment. They're happy to just sit on that 1-goal lead. They don't really need to do anything. As we said, they just need to defend. But they cannot slip up here. Ghost has a chance to pop one away.
What a good pass, though, for Sydney Raw coming so close. And the Chiefs just shut them down. That was an inch. And really, Yummy Cheeseman said this before, Rocket League is a game of inches. And right there, you can see exactly why.
Yeah, look, that could have changed everything, that shot. And obviously would have sent the game into overtime, but unfortunately not to be. But game 1, good showing from both these 2 teams, showing that they're competitive in that sense.
Yep.
A lot more, I guess, rivalry, obviously, battling for Sydney here. So there's a lot on the line for these guys in that sense. But a few of the goals here from this match certainly starting to, I guess, show the skill of these players. There's a few nice tap-ins here. A few times, unfortunately, for Sydney Raw, they were caught on the back foot a little bit. They really just sort of let the Chiefs come at them. And Ghost provided a good outlet for them, actually, in the sense of that goal. But also going forward, he was able to clear that ball quite nicely for them quite a few times. Justice Robo did a lot of work in those goals, but unfortunately not a lot he could do there.
It was the centre-field passes that really got them going. And for Sydney Chiefs, that early start is great. But again, just like the last series between Brisbane and Melbourne, for Sydney v Sydney, it was a 1-goal difference, and I doubt that really that's going to put anyone down. I think for Sydney Raw, there were some good runaway moments, but again, we need to see it in play in game number 2.
Yeah, we do need to see it, I guess, put into action. It's enough to speak about it here on the desk, but we want to see that that change implemented, and I know change is already on. One of these teams is already on Sydney Raw, so in that regard, they've done as much as they can, but looking at these 2 teams and how they're going to shape up for the second match, they know a little bit more about their opposition. As we said, match number 1, it's really about just exploring your options, seeing what strategy your opposition are actually going to play. And they have the luxury now going into game 2 and really just implementing any changes in between the matches here and just making those adjustments.
I think it's curious because our focus players in this series so far, it's been more about other people. I think Talandina's stepped up huge, and I remember watching him warm up the other day as we move into game 2, and I was like, Talandina, you spicy, man. And now in game number 2, we're going to see if he can keep it up for the Chiefs, for their draft roster. They get the first one, but it's all about that momentum in the series.
Yeah, we like to keep it spicy here. It's a little bit cold in Sydney, but I think the term for that is minty. Minty.
Oh, it's about 3 degrees apparently in this next coming week, so I don't look forward to it whatsoever, but it is hot here on the pitch here today. And for Sydney Raw, they get a bit of control early, and now the takeaway from Chiefs. Ghost up there for the defense, but it's popped in front of net. Lim, double touch. I don't think it was intentional, but he got it anyway.
Wow, Lim nicely controlled there in the end. That double touch obviously got it into the back of the net, but that is fantastic.
Not bad.
We've seen some, I guess, interesting plays in the sense that he has some great mechanical ability and the ability to move his car. That was precision from him.
Yeah.
And we saw it in the draft series. His ability to just get goals that were freakish. He's going to potentially do it again. He sails too high that time, but that just cannons off the post.
They were lucky there for Sydney Raw. They were lucky they didn't get scored on there. They were close calls, but just hitting that side post enables them to stay alive. For the Chiefs, the attack continues, and they're in the ball away, and this is their priority. Change is going to go up for it. The challenge won by him, and CJM to Talandina. Talandina back to Justice Robo, and for Lim in the midfield. It's going to be left for Talandina to clear the ball up, but good challenges, good blocks coming through from Sydney Raw to keep it in Chiefs' side.
And that pressure still remains here from Sydney Raw as they do just try and inch their way closer to goal, but the passing play from Chiefs is actually really nice here, and it could result in a goal, but that is a crucial touch there, just sailing too high in the end, too fast on that ball, and Sydney Chiefs just squander an attacking chance here, but good defence from the Raw as they look to build something out of it. Change, obviously just beating out to the ball there, it sails back into the midfield, but another chance to build from the back here. Justice Robo putting that ball up, hopefully it would get to the backboard, but CJM recognising that, he just needs to get those touches, keep that ball in the midfield, and just keep the flow going.
Well, the ball's staying quite high in this second game, and I'm going to say Chiefs are passing a lot higher as well. Trying to get away from from Sydney Raw. It's going to happen trying to get away from Brisbane. Well, you're here now, so.
Yes, true, I'd move down.
Yep, I would as well. 3 minutes left remaining in game 2. It's been a little bit more about Talendina again, but I think this is slower play. This is more about feeling out the opponent still in this second game. But for Sydney Chiefs, they're not being able to get any of those win conditions back up online. 2:45 remaining in game 2.
A lot to work with here at the moment, though. That is a good chance. It just sails wide for the moment, but it allows the teammate to get the touch in there. Change. His shot on goal wasn't quite to be.
The Robo didn't come up in that play either, so they're playing a lot more defensively from Sydney Raw. You can see only that one goal. It's giving opportunities, breathing room to the Chiefs, and I'm not sure if that's the right way to go about it.
They're playing very safe at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're very, very safe. As you said, Justice Robo didn't commit to that. He could have potentially had a chance there, but he just didn't want to make a mistake. And that is what playing with confidence will do, is will alleviate that pressure, and you will take chances and not necessarily sit back as safely as he did just then, but just starting to build something from the back here. Talendina makes a nice little run. He is demolished for his efforts there, but it continues the attack here through CJM, and that is nicely pushed away. And Raw give themselves some breathing space.
Well, the pass back over to Lim, and with that pinch up, she'll be nicely centred, but Talendina's already backed off, left it for CJM. You see that Ghost is going for the individual plays, but he won't be in front of the net. Pass back to Lim. That was a very close call. Let's call it safety. Back to CJM, and with that ball right in front of goal, Ghost has an opportunity. He's blocked out by Lim once more, and Robo is staying back in this game. So they're not going to find the 1-2-3, but with no boost left remaining, he does what he can. He'll be blocked again and met by CJM as Talendina tries to bounce the ball in.
Ghost just pushing that one away, but CJM looking dangerous, put into the box. Dealt with there by Sydney Raw as demolishing
there it is.
In the goal. Lim obviously doing the dirty work there, but Talendina with a nice little assist. You can see the intent. Look at that, Talendina straight on the demolition, left the goal wide open for Lim. And it is 2-0 to the Chiefs, but 2-0, it's a dangerous lead.
It's a good start. It could be a good finish as well in game number 2 for the Chiefs. They've really shored up what was happening in game number 1. I think what was happening was a case of, again, filling out the opponent. It sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but it is true in Rocket League. Right in front of net again, there's an opportunity for Justice Robo. He's finally come up, so they're playing explosively. His change will not be met. Ghost has to get back. Lim's going to challenge this one. Comes around the corner. Not the best read, but Talendina will cement it. The ball goes past him, and getting close plays from the Chiefs. 45 seconds, maybe time's on their side in this one. As Robo comes up off that backboard. The second touch sends it wide. It'll be left up to change from that corner and still in front of net. Drops down. Ghost is behind CJM, and again, opportunities for Sydney Raw. They just can't get through.
Justice Robo there, just putting the pressure on the back, letting them know they're still there. That certainly will as well. Change with the hard hit, taking the demolition, so fireworks fly, but at the moment they still have to get 2 goals. 22 seconds left, and now that lead becomes almost insurmountable as CJM there. Nice play from him, was allowed to run down the field there, that nice little pop up over the defence. Robo not really having the boost to deal with it at all, so a nice little classy touch.
But that will cement the game number 2, and Sydney Raw now have to do exactly what Brisbane Deceptors were looking at, looking down the barrel of a reverse sweep in this best of 5, and it's a very hard ask. Although you're right in front of net now, you can see the defence has been holding out from the Chiefs, which is giving them these opportunities to get big clears, follow up the play, and shut down Sydney Raw from getting anywhere near their net.
Chiefs have been very convincing in this matchup as well. I mean, we saw some glimpses there from Sydney Raw that really showed us that they can, they're on task.
Yep.
In that respect, but from their perspective, it's now do or die. As we said, it's a best of 5 series. You need to win 3 to take the series out, but now they're under the pump.
You have to be thinking in this first week that this is everything. To set yourself up in the first week is one thing, but Jim Nesso, to get yourself that win, the 3-0 or even a 3-1, you go confidence boost into next week. I'm feeling good.
I mean, this game's all about boost. In terms of confidence, yes, that counts as well.
Well, I love how really the confidence boost, you almost broke me there. Yeah, the confidence boost was showing from Lim in the second game.
It was, and as we said, CJM just putting the icing on the cake there at the end. 3 convincing goals, a nice 3-0, nice convincing win for them, and sets them up for that third match here, which hopefully will be coming up shortly.
Well, we'll be coming up shortly. We're going to throw to a quick break, and when we return, game number 3. Sorry, back to Luke, actually. And then we'll go into game 3.
Very cheeky, Jake. It's not a break at all, mate. I'm going to have a chat. Hey, right now, let's check in with with my co-host, Ashley Wells. Ash, where are you?
Hey, man. What's going on? I'm just hanging out in the audience. I'm actually here with Kuria, who is going to be our Rocket League analyst next week. Yeah, give me a round of applause, guys.
Thanks, guys.
So, are you excited about all this Rocket League business? Are you excited to be on the team next week?
I'm over the moon. The fact that Rocket League has the opportunity to be on TV is really good for the players. They're all excited. The audience is loving it as well. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
So we've been watching the games intently at the moment. Do you have a pick? Who do you think is going to win?
I think Chiefs are going to maybe take this away. CJM is a fantastic player, so I think that is a big thing they have in their pocket and may lead them to take the victory.
And what about anyone that's watching right now that has played Rocket League? They may be a bit of a beginner. Do you have any tips for how they can improve their game?
Oh yeah, just play as much as you can and love the game. You hear a lot of the players when they go into their interviews, they say they love it and just keep playing more. Enjoy the game with your friends. It is quite a fun one to pick up and play, and the more you practice, the better you get.
Fantastic. You heard it here first, guys. Thank you. Back to you, Luke.
Thanks, Ash. Stay right where you are. We'll be back with Game 2 of Sydney Roar and Sydney Chiefs right after this. We'll see you in a sec.
Come on, better kick it. Good job, team. Good job.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Callum Murray.
Callum Murray.
Calamari.
Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
Welcome back, guys. We're looking right now at Lim scoring 2 huge goals for the Chiefs in the last games. Chiefs on top at the moment. Can Sydney Raw come back? We're about to find out. We're in match 2, game 3 about to start. Take it away. It's Raw up against the Chiefs. Over to you, Jake and Jim.
Thanks very much as always, Luke, and welcome back, folks. It's going to be, I think, a good time for Sydney Raw if they can find their way back up. But for Sydney Chiefs, looking at match point again, and a 3-0 start would really kick them off well.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, though, obviously, for Sydney Raw.
Of course.
They've got to work themselves back into this series, and it all starts with this next match as well. So a lot of importance being placed on how they play early on in the PC, but they're not messing around. They're getting straight underway here in game number 3 of this second match of the Elite Series. So Chiefs 2-0 up at the moment, and they certainly want to finish this here at the moment. The intent is there. They're almost straight on goal, but Raw, they deal with it for the moment, and as we said, they need to deal with this and just build themselves into this match. They've shown signs before.
Oh, what an angle from CJM, stealing the ball away. The Chiefs with the first, and I have to say, they're looking good here in this series, Jim.
Yeah, not an ideal touch there from Robo, just really giving his opposition a chance in there, and you can't do that with a player like CJM. He's going to take that ball, he's going to pick those cherries all day long, and he put that one into the post and into the back of the net as well. So Sydney Chiefs open their account quite nicely, but you can see the intent from Raw is there. It's straight on goal.
Well, cherry doesn't fall far from the tree for Sydney Chiefs, and I think that cherries grow on trees, don't they?
Yep.
I hope so. Otherwise,
that was right for the picking, that Joe.
It really was. I think right now for Sydney Chiefs, they're going to have to look at how they're playing and continue their force. And coming up to Sydney Raw again, there's Ghost with the touchdown. Justice Robo will follow, but Lim getting there first, and it'll come to a standstill. CJM forced to commit to the ball for change. This will set them up nicely, but Talandina angles it to the left wing, and now for Ghost, it's going to be hard to get them in front of net. Justice Robo, the ball's over him, and Change, the only one in defense. CJM with the touch, but a good block by Change.
And some great clearances there, but the pressure still remains as Chiefs just look to swarm their opposition. They finally get a reprieve here at the moment, but there's a loose ball there. It is actually taken away from Change as that Chiefs roster now start to build again. Looking for that passing play here, just looking to knock it down. Lim.
Close call from Lim. You can see he was trying to angle it towards the net. CJM wants to recover it, and it'll swing past Justice Robo. But good intercepts coming through from the Chiefs, and they're maintaining possession here in this third game.
That's right, both these two teams, as we said, coming into this with a chance to build their own story, make something out of it for themselves, create their own history. They're certainly trying to do that today. Obviously, the first set of bragging rights that they'll claim is that Sydney, the best team in Sydney title,
is better than Sydney.
Oh yeah, and look, it all rides on this match for Raw at the moment. Chiefs in the driving seat, quite literally, and for the moment, they're the ones that just actually having difficulty dealing with that ball at the back. They needed to get something on it.
This is not good whatsoever. Off that backboard again, the third touch from Ghost goes wide. Justice Robo is now going to try and recover it back, but they're facing the wrong way. Chiefs should be able to drive this up for a potential shot. But Change with a good touch. Lim now off that backboard, but Justice Robo doesn't get it. Hits the backboard again, and I think that was attempted shot because CGM was not coming up, and the Sydney Chiefs, things are tense.
Yeah, that they might rue that, as they've only got 1 goal lead at the moment against the Raw, and the Raw themselves have actually looked quite a lot more threatening in these last few phases of play. So starting to build themselves in with some confidence as well. As we said, it's all on the line for them, but Ghost needs to deal with that ball. He'll just push that away, but there's no one immediately putting pressure on him just yet. So the passing play is starting to build for them, but that is the end of that phase because there's no one on the end of that pass. And it just allows Chiefs back in for the moment, and you can't do that.
But look how fast these passes are. CGM's going to do another recovery, but he's run out of boost. Only 12 left in the tank, but it's in front of net. Lim goes up for it as well, and CJM going to have to recover back to the defensive position. He'll go for the second touch and get it out of the way of Justice Robo. Hitting up that backboard for Lim, Talandina. Now the passing play again, CJM. A little bit slow up to the ball, and Chiefs are hanging by a thread, but also leading by it as well.
Talandina, still by far the best name to say. Just feels good to say it.
You're obsessed with Talandina, and why shouldn't you be? I'm obsessed with Ghost at the moment. He's getting some shots on net. It's blocked away again. CJM, that's a light touch and precariously played by the Chiefs. Ghost with the center, changes there. It's blocked, goes back up to the backboard, and Talandina just wants to get it out of here, but Ghost is not enabling that. In fact, he wants to bring it into the center once more. Change off on the side from the corner. Talendina will help manage it with Lim. A good centre pass, and they should be able to clear it now.
Fantastic phase of pressure coming out from the Raw. They were able to keep that ball up in their opposition's half for a majority of a 30-second period. So what that did was allow them to just start them a boost, make sure that they were trapped in there. A nice little reprieve for them, though. Chiefs managed to get themselves out of that pickle that they were in. They weren't quite in a jar yet, though.
Oh, Lim, that's not a good read. Justice Robo has an opportunity, and he gets a good goal. 53 seconds, 1-1 to both Sydney teams.
The ledger has been squared, and they are looking to get that next goal. If they can get that goal, Sydney Raw that is, they will potentially change the momentum in their favour. And that being said, though, it's a game of Rocket League. Anything can happen. The goals come fast, they come thick, and I guess if you blink, you could potentially even miss it.
Justice Robo trying to make us all close our eyes as he runs in front of net change off that backboard again, and you see Raw has started to play off the high shots, and immediately Lim will be waiting patiently as Robo goes up. 35 seconds remaining, and the Chiefs are on the defensive, not where they want to be if they don't want this ball to go to overtime. Robo got a demolition on Talendina, in fact, and this could be an opportunity, but Chiefs have managed to hold control. Lim sends it back, and Talendina's not going to commit. We're running out of time, and both teams are neck and neck.
Yeah, all that demolition meant was that they actually had someone back in defence if they needed it. It didn't really do too much in terms of the actual attack itself. So 10 seconds left here effectively as Talendina tries to push that ball. It looks like we're going to have our first overtime here at the Elite Series.
Well,
so
potentially there's 5 seconds left, and Sydney Raw managed to keep it down. The Chiefs, 1 second left in front of net. Change goes up for the ball. Goes, it hasn't dropped just yet, means no overtime, but it eventually will come. A close call from the Chiefs, but overtime it is.
That was so close to being put to bed there at the end, but in the finish, just wasn't quite there. The save was spectacular as that ball rose, and they look now to put this away. This is golden goal, as we said, so the next goal will take this match and potentially the series if it's Chiefs.
15 seconds into it, it hits a corner. Still good opportunity for the Chiefs, and Lim's there to counteract change. CGM still trying to centre it. Change just gets it out of there where it needs to be, but Lim, a good centre pass. Change with a good read. Justice Robo comes back, and now an opportunity for Sydney Raw as Ghost out of the corner, ready for Justice Robo. Lim with the read again. Ghost over the top, and Change just needs to lock it down. But unfortunately, the bank is closed right now with 45 seconds and the defence holding out.
I was slightly worried there for Sydney Raw. They had numbers up in the goal. All three were committed so far forward, and that was really open to a counter-attack. But thankfully, that didn't come through for them, and they did heap a lot of pressure on Chiefs. So Chiefs certainly know that they're there, and they might potentially put this away here, but the shot is wide.
Talendina comes in, squares it off, but to unavail. 1 minute left. The steal from Sydney Chiefs. CJM waits patiently, but Change has put the pedal to the metal. Comes around the right wing, and he's going to wait in the centre as Justice Robo goes up, but Lim always winning out these challenges. Goes off the backboard, hasn't been defended. The lock away from Change, and he gets it. Sydney Raw are back in the series.
And that means we are going to game 4. A nice piece of play here. A missed defensive opportunity there on the backboard that could have been cleared away.
Yep. Instead,
it just fell nicely into the path.
Well,
Sydney Raw, and they take it to a game 4.
I'd say more than that for Sydney Raw stepping up, and it's something I say quite a lot, but I have to meet it here with Sydney Raw. Two Sydney teams go neck and neck, and I think for the Chiefs, they feel comfortable, maybe too comfortable in that third game.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's certain things you can do on stage to increase your level of comfort. And,
take your shoes off, you know.
Yeah, normally, as we said, they don't play with pants on.
Well,
but
that was said at the start.
Can't do that on stage here. We're in front of a live arena. But that being said, in terms of the game, we can see that from Raw's perspective, they're far more comfortable in this game.
Yep.
They need to be. The pressure's on. And looking comfortable when the pressure's on your team is not easy to do.
Definitely isn't. I think for Justice Robo, there was some great moments there as well, but Ghost just had to go fast. That's the easiest way to sum it up. And I think Change was enabled more on the map this time as well.
He was certainly enabled a lot more. The passing play from Raw was far more on point than it has been in previous matches. We said that was something that was lacking. We saw Chiefs with a lot of run of play. Their passing play was far superior to Raw, and it certainly showed in that match that I guess Raw had turned things back around, back in their favour, and were looking far more, I guess, proactive in making those plays happen.
And now do we start questioning what the Chiefs have to do in game number 4, or maybe what Sydney Raw have to do to continue this level of play?
Let's just see what they can do here. Obviously, they have a full range of options available to them, but they write their own history from game to game, and let's just see how this one pans out. CJM there, just looking to dribble that one up. He's done a good deal of work so far, but he won't beat out the defence whatsoever. And this is, again, just those tense few moments as they look to build and establish dominance early on.
But here comes Change, ready for the dunk down. He'll go wide, and looks like Ghost won't commit a pass to Change. Well played. That's a great first goal for Sydney Raw.
That is a fantastic goal. That's exactly the change that they were looking for in terms of momentum, and also the player as well. Nice little bicycle kick into the back of the net.
Oh, that was spicy.
Touch of class. And also putting them in front in this series, a series that they need. Could they take it to Game 5? Obviously, we're a long way from that, but they're on their way, and I tell you what, you can't leave nobody at home.
A kick-off goal from Talendina. Sometimes you'd say, I hate to see that, but it just comes neck and neck, and Talendina commits. 3-second goal. Chiefs are back equal.
And this is why Rocket League is so fast, so dynamic, so fantastic to watch, because things can change in an instant, and if you're not on your game, even for just a moment, you potentially could suffer a fate like that.
But the Chiefs again setting themselves up. Talendina comes in for the swing down, but it goes back to Lim, and the Sydney Chiefs right where they want to be. But for Sydney Raw, they'll use the dribble, the momentum of this ball. Goes centre, and CJM with a light touch. It's left for Lim. These challenges winning out to the Chiefs, and now for Lim. He takes it all the way, centres it for Talendina. He comes in fast, and CJM now playing with the ball, doesn't have any boost, and that's crucial to end the play. Talendina out as well, and for Lim, he'll just use the clear to bring back time to recover.
Pressure still remaining here on Raw as they do deal with it, but that ball is just being pushed across the midfield for the moment, so still in dangerous areas of the field for them, but that is a great pass here. Justice Robo not quite fast enough to get onto that at all, but what it does is it allows Raw to get themselves out of their own defensive half and just give themselves a moment of respite, and also allows them to just recharge that boost. A nice little attempted dribble there.
Well, look for Justice Robo. He's been cheeky so far and going for the turtle immediately. Ghost actually going to go past the ball. Change, centers it. CJM, good demolition from Ghost, enables no shot to come out of the Chiefs. And CJM, right now, the individual talent's been there, but we want to see Chiefs move together as a unit. 3 minutes 15 and more passing plays coming up. Sydney Raw, they're able to match.
They are for the moment. They're able to keep pace, and this is a much better, as we said, outfit from Raw in terms of confidence. Ghost could have put that one away. Just tried to pop it over the top of the goalkeeper. Wasn't quite on target, so they're still there. They still signaled their intent. They want to attack. They want to go forward, put the game in their hands, and from Sydney Raw's perspective, that's huge in terms of confidence. They need to put those chances away, though, because I just feel against a team like Chiefs, they're not going to get a whole lot of chances like that.
Good commit from CJM. Again, staying in the defensive half of Sydney Raw, and yeah, they might not get as many opportunities as they'd like, because 2 minutes 40, time again running out. And change up to Ghost. Ghost with the centre, Justice Robo coming in. CJM not going to get pumped out of the way, pitches it against the wall, and CJM going to run out of boost here, so it's up to Justice Robo to clear it, but Lim responding well. CJM picks up some boost, a good centre from the Chiefs, and Ghost, the last defender, reads it quite nicely. No one else going to commit from the Chiefs, and light passes upfield for Raw to get it back on the offense.
I love the pressure coming out here from Chiefs. They're still able to keep that ball in the defensive half of the Raw, and it just maintains pressure on it. It means that they just can't switch off for a moment, go and collect some boost. They need to stay within their own positions and territories for the moment, but there is that reprieve coming out for time to time, and that could actually trouble the opposition.
Oh no, that's a pinch and a half that almost found its way into the net. Talendina, a great response, but now for what the Chiefs, what can they get? Lim with the pass back. Change is not in position, and through the smoke, it'll hit the crossbar, come out, and another close call from the Chiefs on their aggression.
Could that be a key moment in the match? I guess the rest is there to be seen, but I mean, that miss, fantastic pass though, I must admit, fantastic pass. The play was awesome, but it wasn't rewarded in the end there, and it was spectacular with the demolition coming through. But from a Raw perspective, that allows them a window of opportunity now. They don't have to fight from behind. They're still on equal footing at the moment. But Lim could try and change that here with a nice play, but he just misses out. Ghost on that one. And that ball is pushed up in midfield here. Raw get to start their phase of attack.
Well, finally, with 1:10 remaining off that backboard, defended well by Lim, and immediately the counter clears keep coming out. The ball just doesn't have any leeway in Chiefs' defense. They get it out of there, they start the aggression again, and Justice Robo trying to change all of that, but it's all about Lim here in this game. He's getting the clears, he's setting up the Chiefs, and with 50 seconds to go, I dare say that Lim has done a lot of the heavy lifting to keep it this way.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put it in football terms, he's that box-to-box midfielder. He's the engine room, literally with an engine strapped to him at the moment, but he's doing all the work, and that is a crucial clearance there, because that ball could have slipped right into the back of the net and just rolled over, and that would have been a disappointing way for Chiefs to just surrender that equal footing they have at this point in time. Now CJM, he's going to push that ball into the midfield here. Lim couldn't quite get there in the end, but he's done enough to actually keep that ball in play. So Chiefs here looking for that goal, but it's Raw for the moment that control the possession.
But directly down the midfield, the shot will come out again. It's wide for Justice Robo. Change. A good touch will keep the dreams alive for Sydney Raw. 10 seconds left remaining. It's 1-1. The ball's at a standstill. We're counting down on the clock as CJM and Lim are going to be crucial in this defense. Robo centers it, goes for the touch. Talendina with a light one, goes back in, but this one they'll want to hit the ground as we go to our second overtime.
Back in overtime here, both these two teams, as we said, there's a lot on the line here. For Raw, it's their series life, I guess, in that sense. Chiefs could definitely put it away here with a quick goal, but there's no one on the back post there. That ball was just cannoned across goal, and that ball still is in dangerous areas here. It's finally dealt with by Raw, and they need to find this goal here because they want to take this to game 5.
Remember, Talendina didn't commit, so he still has boost. He goes under the ball. It's left for Lim. Robo again with the standstill, but for Ghost. To CJM, he goes for the wide pass. Changes there to respond. Back into the centre field. The infield passes coming out a lot from the Chiefs. High goes the ball. Ghost.
Wrong button.
Fantastic save, though. Save the day. 40 seconds into overtime.
And that is the difference there between potentially a goal and a save. A wrong button hit there meant that he actually backflipped instead of boosting. So there are mistakes that are going to be made in this overtime. There's a lot of pressure on these players.
Yep.
But so far they're standing up to it, and this ball is just sitting in front of goal, finally dealt with by Raw. And as we said, it's golden goal at the moment. Next goal wins.
Oh, but Justice Robo sees it. He takes the opportunity. And within a minute of overtime, Sydney Raw bring us to our first Game 5 of the Elite Series.
There's only so much Lim could do there at the moment. He was outnumbered at the back. And that touch actually put the ball into the place of Sydney Raw, right in front of them. They take that now to a Game 5. Looking at these two teams, as we said, there's a lot of potential in that Sydney Raw side, and they're showing it now.
I think for Sydney Raw, the confidence was there in the last game, and they've managed to claw back against a powerful team in the Chiefs. Now on Game 5, you lose a bit of that confidence, because for the Chiefs, they're like, we weren't expecting this. I don't think a lot of people were expecting this. Now we're in a dire position.
Yeah, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition either.
No, they don't, but it appears.
That's not in game. Either way, from a Chiefs perspective, they were looking like the better side early on in the matches, the first 2 games. But from Raw's perspective, they've been able to work themselves back in. Unfortunately, I've broken you. Do we need a wrench?
No. I'm all right. No one expects him. You're right. For Talendina, we saw a great game, but I want to highlight for the Chiefs, although that wasn't a win, that was a lot about Lim and his defensive capabilities in that game.
There was, and obviously there, Justice Robo scoring that one in the dying moments in overtime. That being said, though, it just keeps going. Overtime keeps going until someone scores. So they could potentially play a whole nother set if they need to. So someone will score that goal. But thankfully, for Sydney Raw, for us, they were able.
We get a Game 5.
We get a Game 5. This is our first 5-game series in the Elite Series, and obviously a taste of things to come for these teams. Now, Chiefs, they were confident early on. They're a little bit under pressure now. The pressure is being applied. The foot on the gas from Sydney Raw.
I was waiting for something like that. We finally got a gym now. So Game 5 begins now, folks. Make some noise if you're in the crowd. It's game number 5, Chiefs versus Sydney Raw, and the title of Sydney's right there as Ghost sets it up for the first shot of the game.
Yeah, Ghost is really haunting these players from Chiefs. And just as that ball sits in the midfield here, Change, just looking to switch things up a little bit. He will not be able to do all that defensively, but I tell you what, for someone who was tumbling out of control, he managed to switch things up nicely and get back into the mix there and push that ball away. CJM puts the ball into a dangerous area. Ghost just pushes it away, but again, the pressure is really being applied here from Chiefs early on. You can see that obviously they didn't think they'd get to a Game 5. You take the first 2 matches in a series and you really don't see yourself going to Game 5 because that's when the pressure really starts to hurt. And there is a momentary reprieve in pressure, but for Sydney Raw, a chance for them to switch it up.
Remember that for Justice Robo. He said, yeah, look, we're confident. We think we can take the Chiefs, and you've shown why. Taking it to Game 5, and a minute's passed. Couple of shots from both teams, but Justice Robo left into defense. He clears the ball up, gets the demolition, and maybe now there's a reprieve, but the Chiefs say no. They bring it back down, and in a very hard fashion. 3:45 left remaining, and trying to go centre field for Sydney Raw just isn't working.
Well, for the moment, as CJM, very nearly brings it down quite nicely with a touch there, but is swept away and cleaned up by the Raw as they look now to just put pressure on Chiefs. A momentary change in the pace of the game because so far the traffic has largely been in favour of Sydney Chiefs, but they have to do some defending now. But that ball is just pushed back. And the tussle between these two teams really continues at the moment. It's really a to and fro battle. You can see both these two teams, they're managing to relieve pressure momentarily, and that first goal from Talendina will certainly do that for the Chiefs.
He stole that one out of the corner, and it was off the back of Lim's setup in game number 5. The first goal with some counter thinking there from the Chiefs. 3:15 and Sydney Roar behind.
Yes, I think it was just maybe Justice Robo there missing that ball in the lights. The lights around here are pretty bright, so I don't think he actually saw it properly. Otherwise, he would have done a better job in defence. But either way, interesting bump there.
And he has been shining so far, and as a bit of a shining light now, we need to see more out of him. Change with a good centre field pass, and Talendina won't get it out of there. Robo committing forward. As Lim is there, now who is there from Sydney Roar? They're hanging back, and a demolition won't do much right now, but it will stop any chance of offense. Lim hanging, waiting patiently, but he pops it up. CJM gets bumped out of the way. Robo for Ghost, and now the centre there for change. Lim up again, and Lim has been super stellar with these defences.
Yeah, Lim has certainly been the one that's been putting in the hard yards for the Chiefs when they're feeling the pressure. He's been all over the place. As we said, he's the guy that's going end to end. He's in the defence when he needs to be. He's in the attacking phases when he needs to be as well. He's also enabling players such as CJM to do what they do best, and that's just put that ball away in front of goal. So, I mean, there's some fantastic ability here on the Chiefs. They just need to piece it together in Game 5. They've got that 1-goal lead, but it's just not going to be enough against a team like Raw. They've got the confidence of winning the last 2, so there's a real danger there.
The pass is getting intercepted, and the Chiefs are doing exactly that. They go for the angled shot again, and with that 1-goal lead, the confidence is still coming out. They're not playing defensively. They're still going aggressive, and off that backboard, Robo hangs it to the right. Talendina will not come up, but CJM, he'll take it. Talendina clashes with that pile of cars, and I think now is an opportunity for Sydney Roar as Ghost is on the ground, Lim is there. A good read by the Chiefs, but what is Change going to do? The answer is nothing as he clears it to the wing, hits it off the wall, takes it himself. I'll take back the nothing, but unfortunately for Sydney Roar, it's still 1-0. Robo, last chance, that backboard, ready for Change.
Scramble defence from the Chiefs is really being tested at the moment. All 3 of them are sitting in the back of the net almost at that point in time, and that's how much pressure is being applied here by the Roar. And that is another great goal from CJM. Nice little pop over the top, finished in the back of the net, and that is exactly what the Chiefs needed, because that is against the run of play, to be fair.
To be fair, that was a beautiful passing play. They took it slow, they put the pace up when they needed to, and 1 minute 22 goals for the Chiefs, and they've showed their comfortability in game number 5.
And it's now on Sydney Roar. The pressure's on them. They're 2-0 down. As we said, though, 2-0 is a lead that is easily overcome by momentum in that sense. So just maybe looking to just seal it here, the Chiefs, looking for that 3rd goal. That being said, though, nothing is impossible in Rocket League.
1 minute remaining. Chiefs have the lead on the offense once again. Sydney Roar need to get it out of here. For CJM from this corner, Change runs head to head. And right now they need to push up. The Sydney Roar running out of options. Demolition goes on to Ghost. Now for Robo. Can he take it off the wall? Lim trying to read the ball, but he's just going to get the pinch and won't actually even find that. Change centers it for Ghost. It drops down. Sydney Roar. 40 seconds to get that last goal.
That is the most eloquent touch there. And for those of you playing at home wondering how he just tipped that ball in the back of the net, the undercarriage of the car, the wheels, just softens the touch a little bit and allowed that ball to drop into the back of the net. If he hit that with his hood, he would have popped it over the top.
That's right. 40 seconds. Decision-making key. The Sydney Roar try to climb back. Feels like you're watching someone climb Everest right now. Well, it hasn't been the case. It's more like climbing Ayers Rock. I haven't been to Northern Territory. 25 seconds remaining, and Chiefs now. It's their last chance, but Change has found one through. A last touch. There it is. Robo knocked out by Talendina. Wow. That could have been it.
That is a crucial moment in the game there, because that could have been the real turning point. With 10 seconds left, that might be the only chance that they get again, but unlike Everest, you can climb and watch Rocket League in 5 minutes, and this one is about to pass that 5-minute mark with Chiefs taking away the victory as that ball touches the bottom of the field. And Chiefs, they were made to sweat by the Sydney Roar.
Oh, but hey, that was not a sweep. That wasn't even close. That was a very convincing victory at the end. At the end. During the series, we had some close calls, but for Sydney Raw, I think you'd still be happy with the performance they showed here today.
Yeah, look, Sydney Chiefs were so far into that match, they just had to be told to take their headsets off. They were ready to play again. That's how far, I guess, ingrained into the match they were. They were concentrating. It took a lot out of them. It was a really close contest there in the end. And look, the battle for Sydney, at least in terms of Rocket League, belongs to the Chiefs.
I think I'm pretty convinced by Sydney Chiefs at the end, but it was a close call. 3-2 victory to the Chiefs as we throw it back to Luke on the desk.
Huge second match there. I thought Raw were going to come back for a bit. Did you, Dave?
It was so close.
Yeah.
They were so nervous at the start, but the Battle of Sydney goes to the Chiefs. You have to give it up for the Sydney Chiefs. They've shown in front of their own crowd that they can perform well, and going series to series, season to season, I think they'll play really well.
But it was tight. You got to give kudos to Raw. Like, it was really tight there because it was 2 overtimes.
Yeah, and they really ground it through. They had almost no possession in the first couple of games. They couldn't get a touch on the ball. They were getting outpaced. But with those demos in Game 3, that is what put Chiefs on the back foot. It made them scared. They didn't know where anyone from Sydney Raw was going to come from and take them out of the game.
All right, well, there is always a winner, so let's check in with the winning captain right now. It's the Chiefs. Over to you, Ash.
Hey, thanks so much, Luke. Hey, Lim, that was an absolutely amazing match. It was so tight. It was Sydney versus Sydney, draw versus draw. Where was your head at, especially during that overtime?
Look, it was a really tight series, tighter than we expected it to be, but we tried to remain calm in comms, and eventually we pulled through in the end.
You and Talendina seem to work very well together as a team. What's it like playing with him?
Yeah, it's good. No, we work well together, and I think we position well together as well, so we're able to get good passing plays going.
Was there a moment that you thought, I don't know if we've got it, I don't know if we have it?
Not really, to be honest. We were pretty confident going in, and I thought that we would, if it got to a close point, that we would be able to pull through.
Fantastic. Well, that confidence definitely shone through. Congratulations again on your win. Back to you, Luke.
Let's have a look at when that match was won and lost. Dave, let's have a look at the highlights right now. Let's see what the goals.
Game 1 was so important for the Chiefs to get off to that good start. It looked like they were going to run away with this series, and you have to point out, throughout all of these games, the pass plays between Lim and Talendina, CJM, of course, we talked him up at the beginning of the match. He got the passes, wasn't really there on the attack. And this here was just some nerves. Talendina, not quite sure whether to go first. It's his first LAN experience. Saw a few misses in the play as well. But as soon as he got this goal, the confidence was there, and he really powered through the rest of the series. This was a good 1-2-1. You miss out in this replay, but that was what it was. Lim and Talendina pass one way, pass it back, and to see a team like Sydney Chiefs, who I said aren't going to play like a team, they're going to be individuals, they were the best team. Yeah. They were passing so well in attack for those first 2 games. It is a great sign coming through, and it wasn't until demos came through in Game 3 that it really turned it around, that they weren't getting those passes. They had to just focus on getting the ball out of defense. So Sydney Raw did almost bring it back. A lot of it was Ghost. I think he was definitely the player for Sydney Raw. Set up a whole lot of their plays, got a lot of good finishes, really put CJM through his paces in that back half, and was forcing a lot of mistakes. They put so much pressure on. We saw these mistakes, CJM making one there, but other times it was all 3 of them. Even right there, CJM again making the mistake, and Change with a brilliant backflip shot. A lot of creativity coming through, but they threw it away. That kickoff, not up to par.
Now, it obviously becomes a very different game at this point of it as well, because the pressure's really on. We're in overtime, and bam, there you go.
They were really good at the overtimes. If Sydney Raw got another overtime, I think they would have won, because both teams started going more careful. They were staying further back, and that really favoured Sydney Raw's play style. They are a careful team. They're more about getting the ball away from their net, down the pitch. And that worked in the overtime. Eventually, though, Talendina and Lim came through.
They really controlled them in the last game, didn't
and
they?
that big save coming out from Talendina in this last match, followed up by this 1-2-1 play. It was CJM and Talendina here as well. I think all 3 players played incredibly as a team.
Right at the end.
Yeah, and Ghost almost brought it back, and we talked about Ghost being so good. the force coming out from change, so much nerves. It's their first land. All three players in the Chiefs were up.
It really was down to the line. It felt like right till the last second it could have been Raw, didn't it?
It really did, and that was a surprise. I said, you know, cheekily, meanly, that it was going to be easy for Sydney Chiefs, that it was a breezy match. But in the end, Sydney Raw blew through and showed that they can be proud of the competition.
But it was the Chiefs, so I'm curious where you're going to go with this. I want to find out who your Astro MVP for this match is. Who's your pick, David?
I think surprisingly it was Lim. I expected CJM coming in, but Lim had a huge series. He really impressed me with his passes, and most notably, he wasn't necessarily getting all the goals. He was great in attack, but he was setting up so many of them, and then he would rush back to defense. He would get those massive saves, and he was able to keep them in the lead when they needed it.
Amazing leading from the captain there. Thanks, David. There is going to be more Rocket League on its way. Coming up, we have Perth Ground Zero battling out with Melbourne Avant. Huge gaming here at Gfinity Esports League. We'll see you soon. Good stuff.